Jerome, it's all yours.
Thank you for coming. I'll speak in English because my Dutch is nicht sehr gut. Aber ich kann fast alles verstehen. But thank you for coming to Interlaken. Very pleased. Actually, I didn't know how many people to expect because they didn't tell me, and I arrived, they were more or less all over Interlaken. So I think that's really cool. Today, the Model S is the most popular car in Interlaken, and we love it. It's very important for me to be here. When we decided to make a dual motor, that's not long ago, we decided to make a dual motor. We said, Elon wanted to have a launch in America, in Los Angeles. That's his home, that's the home to the studio, and I understand. But I said that the start in Europe needs to be in Switzerland. Because I wanted for all of you to know that we are very, very appreciative of our customers in Switzerland. It's a very important market for us, and I wanted to show our appreciation by having the first event here in Interlaken. So thank you very much for your support. You'll get a chance to experience the cars in just a few minutes. There's a lot of exciting news coming in Tesla. There's a lot has happened in the past. There's even more coming in the future. But rather than explaining a lot about the dual motor or the autopilot, which is a big effort for us. You know, we have a little video which we're going to show in just a minute. And then if you want, for a few minutes afterwards, we can do a few Q&A, or you can ask me a few questions. You can ask in German, in French, whatever, it's okay. I will answer in English. All right, well, thank you. Let's watch the video, and then I'll come back right after.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tesla, autopilot is a way for the car to do certain types of driving that it can fundamentally do better than a human. A lot of people really enjoy driving, but there's certain types of driving that are fundamentally dull, cruising on the highway for long periods of time, and can be very dangerous because we're operating at high speeds and humans can lose attention, look away, and do other things. During those conditions, really, a autopilot system is much more capable of operating the car. What we wanted to do was to keep the operator in control at all times, let the person drive, but in these types of conditions, like a long stretch of the highway, let the car take over when it can do better.
We had the advantage of starting with a car that was already safe. And in order to perceive the world around you, we had to add a camera, a radar, and ultrasonic sensors looking all around the car. So the benefits of a camera is, it's like your eyes, but the radar kind of creates these superhuman eyes that can see through fog, that can see through rain, and operates on a different set of principles. The camera and the radar are working together to see and track all the cars and pedestrians, and the ultrasonics are monitoring all the way around your car. The end result is this force field that we could first warn if there's a hazardous situation and allow you to take control. And if you don't, then we can take a safe action for you by stopping the car before collision or by gently steering you back into the lane.
The original Model S is the best car in the world. And it's fantastic in all weather conditions, but we even wanted to take it further, and we wanted to evolve the electric car to the next level. As we looked at how you deliver all-wheel drive with an electric car, which is completely different than a traditional car, the best way to do it is actually to put two motors in the car, hence the name dual motor.
In a normal car, you have one distinct power unit that then mechanically distributes the power to all four wheels. With ours, we can use two completely separate motors at the front and rear of the car and distribute the power that way. If one wheel or tire is slipping, the brakes are actually slowing that wheel down so that the others can catch up to it, and therefore it's also sending additional power to the wheel that has more grip. Driving driving the car, you'll have more confidence, you'll notice, additional traction, which then, being able to take turns faster and being able to take them safer, which is even more important. We can turn one motor off when we want to. We can use the front motor more than the rear in some instances, or the rear more than the front in others. And that gets us to a point where we can actually have better range than a rear-wheel drive car. And that kind of puts you at an advantage compared to any other all-wheel drive product out there.
The reason that we were able to do this car is because we have a high degree of desire to achieve new things at Tesla. This is all in the makeup of how we work here. Everybody has a desire to do something better. So we've spent the last year and a half perfecting 85D, P85D, to get to a great car that appeals to all customers.
Being in Silicon Valley and being in an area that develops all kinds of electronics and technology, I think we fundamentally came at this challenge very differently.
Ultimately, what we've done is ignored what's out there right now and started from scratch.
We've moved the game on. We've allowed ourselves to understand from our learning that we've done over the last 4 years of working on Model S, and we've actually applied the improvements to it, and we pass that on to our customers.
Okay, so I think we have a couple of microphones around, but you can also, the room is not so big, you can tell me the question and then I'll repeat it for everybody. If we can do that for a little bit and then everybody can go and test ride the car. Any question?
Consumption?
Consumption. Energy consumption, I guess, yeah?
From 4-wheel to 2-wheel?
So from 4-wheel to 2-wheel, that's a very good question. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is the consumption depends a lot on your driving style. Okay. The best driver in terms of energy is actually autopilot. So it's smarter than your foot. I know it's hard to say, but so I recommend that. Yeah? So I have in America, I have a signature car, and I have P5D and 85D, and I don't know, several. But the test cars. Yeah? The dual motor is more efficient. The 85D is more efficient than the 85, because the small motor is itself more efficient. So when you cruise, we use either the front or the rear or a combination depending on the condition, and so you'll be able to go a little further out, yeah, with the 85D. With the P85D, it should be about 5% more energy than the P85. It depends a bit on the tires and mostly on the driving style, yeah? So it will be 5% less range about with the P85D. That's my observation. Yeah?
Can you give us an estimate by when the autopilot will be released in Switzerland in terms of law?
Okay, so the question is, when will the autopilot be released? Yeah. So autopilot for us is a series of features, right, that help at the driver assistance. Yeah. So we picked the autopilot, the name autopilot, because it's the same name as in the plane, right? The plane has autopilot, but when you fly it, there's still a pilot, right? Right. You might be chatting with the flight attendant, but it's still, in theory. Okay. So, the responsibility at the moment with what we're doing is still going to be yours, to make sure that everything is okay. But in that suite of features, we're releasing the little by little. So right now, I think we have 5 features that are available. We have speed limit display. So in the center display, it tells you what the speed limit is. We have a lane departure warning, so when you change lanes without using your turn signal, it will vibrate the steering wheel. So those were started. Then we added 3 more. There is a collision avoidance warning. So when the car thinks you may hit something, it's gonna beep. Yeah. Then there is automatic high beam. So it's really good, actually. It's high beam, low beam. It does it, I think, quite smart. Yeah. And then, of course, the third one is the one that most people like, is the traffic-aware cruise control. It looks at the cars around you to set the speed, and then you can select how comfortable you want it to be. And there's also the parameters. Yeah. So those 5 functions are already developed, released to all cars that have the autopilot hardware. Now there is many additional features that are coming. Now, as an officer of the company, I cannot give out material information, but let's just say that they'll come sooner than you think. Okay? So let's just say that. Okay? Yeah. So that's and we have a very, very strong interest for releasing as much as possible. The team is working extremely hard, and we have to make sure we don't make mistakes. So we have to accumulate a little bit of mileage to make sure it's okay. I think some of you here are part of our tester. We send the prototype firmware over the air to us, like some employees, and to some of our customers, and we get feedback, to make sure it's all okay before we send it to everybody. But it will happen sooner than you think, the additional features.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
If I sign up to be a tester, do I get a car?
You have to bring your own car if you want to do a test drive. Yeah.
Will the ramp off, ramp on feature be available all over the world?
Yeah, I hope so. We'll have to find a solution how to implement. But that's the expectation. Technically, there is no difference. Any other question?
Yeah.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Some of those features you just mentioned may be available without additional hardware. To what extent will they be available on older cars?
Yes. So all the features that I mentioned will be possible on the cars that have the autopilot hardware. The cars that don't have it, unfortunately, it's not going to be possible in terms of retrofit. I wish it were. But it's not. And then I can make a list of what needs to change. And when you see the list, Peter, who's here with the service guy, is over there, he will say, no, 9! Garnished! So it's too much work, yeah? So, like, the windshield has to be different. Because, the camera is stuck to it, so it's a different thing, Oh, but because there is a camera, the headliner has to change inside the car, the big piece, The front fascia and the rear fascia are different because we have 4 more sensors than in the older cars, yeah? The front valance is different. All the mounting brackets, and then most complicated, the main wiring harness. So this is very, very complex. Changing the main wiring harness, you have to strip down the entire car. So that would not be practical. I wish it were, but it's not possible. Okay, some questions from the back. I'm blinded, so I can't see. You have to speak loud. Yeah. All right.
Congratulations to your fantastic car. So we were really happy, and especially in Switzerland, we love the dual drive. I'm sure about that. One question is, you're the only company which is developing your older cars also for the future, especially the Roadster. I'm from the Roadster company, as you can hear. You are the only company which is telling me 5 years or 7 years after the first car you delivered, you're still planning updates for the Roadster. So my question is, do you have any further information about the new battery, about the new kit for the car, when is it available? Because a friend of mine has a broken battery in his Roadster, and he would be very happy to know a little bit more. Perhaps I'm not the only one, but I think it's just a fantastic thing. You're just developing the car further. That's a really special thing. I think you're the only company which are doing that.
Thank you. And I want to thank here all the Roadster owners. for their support. You know, there would be no Tesla if it hadn't been for the for the Roadster owners. So thank you very much for that. And that's precisely why Elon and JB in particular, as the longest serving executives at Tesla, are very keen on taking care of the Roadster customers. You know. Now, unfortunately, I'm not close to those engineering projects. Too much on my plate already. But I know they drove to LA. Is that public or not? Yeah. Oops. Ouch. Okay, yeah, they drove to LA. Is it public? I assume it's public. Okay, that's why I'm not so close, you know. But they did drive to LA. I saw the car. It's looking interesting. No, it's very modern. I thought it's pretty cool to see how, you know, much nicer and more modern it looks. Yeah, but I don't have the details. You know, neither on timing nor on the cost. You know, for us, it's a sign of appreciation. It's not a source of profit. You know, it's just a sign of appreciation. But I can assure you that it's high on Elon's and JB's mind. Yeah, but I want to say that we try to make all cars better. You know, even if you have one of the first Model S, you know, you will see that the navigation is going to become better and better. With 6.1 it was already better, and with 6.2 there is even more very desired features. One thing that I would like to ask all of you is every time you come to service, which I know is too often, but there is a little survey you receive afterwards. So write down what you want in that little survey. Okay, because we read all of these things, and I read all the negative ones, as you know, because you may have received an email from me, or he does get them. But you write it because we have a team that makes statistics, right? So when I meet with the engineers and with Elon, we use those statistics to decide what to work on the car next. So I think it's not very, well understood that it's your direct feedback that influences what we do next. So please take the time to write it down. There's a little box at the bottom, and then we tabulate it and we use that. So in 6.1 you saw those backup lines. You know, I was getting tired of getting emails saying put backup lines, you know. The engineer saying it's not possible, it's not possible. Well, that engineer is no longer at Tesla, but there is one now that found a solution. And so you have the backup lines. But if it wasn't for the insistence of the customers, we would have no backup lines, okay? So please, it's important to write down, and we'll follow up on that. Good. Just a couple more questions. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you give us, please, some more insider information about Model X and Model 3, please?
Yeah. So Model X, again, I'm not allowed to give material information, you know, because I would go to jail. But the Model X, I think it's public that we have a lot of them, right? We're being careful with the streets, you know, but we built a lot of them for different tests, you know. We're not at the point yet where they gave me one to go home, but I hope so. Soon in the next few weeks that I will get one. So yeah, it's moving along. You know, it's looking nicer. We're trying. There are little improvements compared to the concept car, and we are not going to show them before we start deliveries. So we're trying to keep it like a little secret. You know, with the Model S, because I was in charge of Model S, we were way more, you know, open. We were driving everywhere and breaking down everywhere, and but with the Model X we're trying to be a little bit more discreet. But I think it's progressing well, yeah, from what I see, and I look forward to getting my test car. Yeah.
Can you tell something about the price level of Model X and Model 3?
So the Model X, you know, it's about the same as Model S, so just maybe a little bit more, I think. And then for Model 3, I think the target is to be half price. So that's what we're working towards. Definitely, yeah. Thank you. Okay, one last question, because I know you guys want to go test drive. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Sorry, you got beaten. Go ahead.
Could you tell us a little bit the development of the battery capacity? Because in the next years, I think we will see more capacity. For me, that's the most important, and not the autopilot.
Yeah. So the technology continues to evolve, you know, and that's well, we're trying to start planning ahead. You know, we're building the Gigafactory in Nevada, in Reno. I'm not sure, you know, that about the details. The capacity in general is good for most people, because with the network of superchargers that are increased, it facilitates a long distance travel. Yeah, we see Norwegians everywhere now with their Model S. They do leverage the and we I mean, I like it. Yeah, so. We could make much larger batteries, but they're just heavy and expensive, you know. So maybe as the price come down, we can try to find a balance, you know. But our focus has been more on expanding the network of superchargers to facilitate even further the long distance travel. And I have to say too that we are shipping, I think about several hundreds already in Europe of customers. I've got the CHAdeMO adapter as well. To facilitate that travel as well. So I think about half the people that had ordered one already got one in Europe. The only challenge with CHAdeMO is the car is very powerful for the CHAdeMO stations, you know, so sometimes the CHAdeMO station is not happy, but the car is happy. CHAdeMO not so much, but it's okay. All right, well I think Johan is going to give some final advice, you know, for the test drive. My advice to you is put your head against the headrest. So that's it. All right, thank you. Enjoy the evening. I'll be around for a little bit, so you can come ask me questions. Thank you.